Insurance is boring until it isn't. All it takes is one storm, one fire, one slip and fall on your property, and your entire life, work, savings, and retirement in a blink of an eye could be gone. All because you either were underinsured or you didn't take the time or consider it worth your time and effort and money to get insurance. If you hate talking about insurance, this video is for you, because we're going to do some adulting 101. We're going to figure out what insurances may be applicable to you, help you understand that insurance is not just throwing money out the window. It's actually self-protection and preservation. Very important. Get a cup of coffee, get a notepad. We're going to talk about this. You don't need perfect insurance. You don't need mountains and mountains of insurance, but you do need the right insurance. And you need to be aware of what you're covering and what deductibles you've signed up for. Because some of us get very affordable insurance, but when a problem happens, it is lacking in some of the basics that we needed, and or the deductible is so astronomical, you might as well have self-insured. So we're going to talk about this, we're going to unpack it, and we're all going to sleep better at night knowing we've had this conversation and you can choose your path forward. Insurance isn't exciting, isn't glamorous, but it is that thin line between disaster and moving forward with just a hiccup. Someone falls on your property, your dog has a bad day, whatever happens, and bites somebody. Your kid uses a BB gun in the wrong direction, puts somebody's eye out. These are all things people can come after you for compensation on. And if you don't have the right insurances with the affordable deductibles that you can stomach and you can live with, you're going to find yourself in a world of hurt. Insurance is boring. Financial disaster is not. You can get one and avoid the other. And again, you don't have to have perfect insurance, but you do have to have the right insurance. Without the right insurance, emergencies become setbacks, and all of your plans and a lot of your money, you're going to have to rebuild. We do not want to rebuild at this age. We have worked too hard and too long, so let's get serious about our insurance now. If we felt the devil may care, I've got the basics. I've got a really high deductible, but by goodness, it's time to stop living like you're in your 20s and your 30s and realize you got a lot to protect now. Your sanity, your peace of mind, your financial world, and the rest of your life. There's a lot of different types of insurances. Many we've been very familiar with throughout our lives. We've got auto insurance. At the minimum, you have to have liability. If you get into a wreck, the person you are in the wreck with, if it's your fault, your insurance covers their problems, their damage, their injuries, etc., up to a certain limit. Remember, all of our policies have a maximum liability coverage on them that you need to dive in and become aware of what that looks like. But we're aware of auto. Goodness knows we're aware of health insurance. There's homeowners insurance. There's renters insurance. There's insurance on your toy vehicles. There's insurance on your pets, etc. Some insurances are just ridiculous. You could self-insure, such as pet insurance, but that's not part of this conversation. Your insurance needs, you need to go grab all of your policies and let's start talking about what you have, where you need to find out more information, and what you need to be looking for in order to protect yourselves. When you pull all your policies out, write them down. Write yourself a list. I have got comp and collision on my car. Make sure you have what your deductible is and what your liability limits are, and then keep working down from there. I have homeowners. Dive into your homeowners insurance because what you're covered on is very important. If you are in an area that has hurricanes, you might be covered for wind, but not flooding. So you might be covered for wind and rain damage that comes from above, but if something happens like it did in Houston with Hurricane Harvey, and so many people got flooded with those 58 inches of rain, a lot of people weren't covered for that because they were not in flood zones. It was one of those crazy moments. that a lot of people suffered and are still suffering. A lot of people are still paying off loans and things that they had to take in order to rebuild just to live in the structure that was flooded out because their insurances didn't cover it. When you go to look at your other insurances, and if you're a renter, same situation, you want to figure out what's covered. Is it just the contents? Oh, also with homeowners or renter's insurance, sometimes the contents of your vehicles are covered. So if you had something stolen out of a break-in from your vehicle, that could possibly be covered. These are good things to know. But what you want to find out, what kind of insurance you've got, what is covered, what your deductible is, and what your liability insurance built into those policies are. That's going to give you an overall view on if you have enough. So maybe you took the homeowner's insurance out on your house 25 years ago and it's just auto-renewed, auto-renewed. Your life situation was different 25 years ago than it is now. You've got very possibly much more retirement and wealth to protect than you did then. It's time to revisit. Matter of fact, all of us should be revisiting our insurance policies, if not annually, then every other year, because things move quickly in this world and you need to make sure you are forever covered to the maximum that makes sense for you, that you can afford, and with a deductible and liability that covers you. Another point to insurance that many of us do not like to think about, but we're at that stage of life that we are taking care of our parents, and as they move on and transition and pass away, we are cleaning up their messes, and part of those messes are who are the beneficiaries of what. To do to prepare for your ultimate departure is an entirely different video, but for this conversation in your insurance policies, you need to revisit who your beneficiaries are. Could possibly be that a individual you identified as the beneficiary 15 years ago, 10 years ago, no longer makes sense for a whole variety of reasons. I guess before I turned 50, I was renewing some insurance policies, and my insurance agent asked who the beneficiaries were. So yeah, my dad, I was unmarried at the time. Figured I'd set him up with whatever was left behind after I die. Insurance agent, very politely for several years, oh, great. And then finally said, Jen, your dad is aging. Let's put somebody in the backup position. So that made sense. Same thing with your financial paperwork. You need to make certain that your beneficiaries are identified, and then if they still make sense, or do you need to put somebody in the backup position? Insurance is a part of the overall money plan. Once you hit a certain age in life, you've got a lot more to protect than you did, like I said, back in your 20s, back in your 30s. Your kids have left the house. You've possibly have paid off your home. You've got some nest eggs together. You've probably inherited some stuff from some other people in your life who have passed before you. You have more to lose now than you did 25, 30 years ago. You have got to protect it because there are unscrupulous individuals out there looking for marks, as we've heard them called in the movies, but somebody who, the slip and fall artist, people like that, you need to protect yourself from that. So pull out the policies. What kind of insurances do you have? What do they cover? What's your deductible and what's your liability? Look to see who the beneficiaries of these policies may be and revisit the entire insurance package. You can easily find yourself a trusted insurance broker. Talk to friends and family, get a reference, talk to people in your church community. Go to Dave Ramsey's website, endorse local providers for insurance providers. You will get somebody with the heart of a teacher who has your best interest at heart. We have to take care of these things now before life happens and we wish we'd taken care of them 2 days ago, 6 weeks ago, whenever. Do it now. If this information has startled you or made you think, I need to go and check this out, go do it. Leave me a comment below. Forward this email to somebody in your life who needs to hear it, needs to be aware, even if there are the younger version of you 20, 30 years ago. Good information to have for them now so they can start planning and preparing to protect themselves better in the future. All right, well, I'm Jenny. I'm here to talk dollars and cents about retirement and life in this wonderful age we're all entering into. I post on Wednesdays and Saturdays. I'll see y'all soon. Stop recording.